retorna em definitivo como um grupo forte, entendeu?
I think we should speak English.
English?
Yeah. Yes. I think when we started, we just the important thing was just us to become friends again, and we hung out, and then we started playing, and then we said, let's play some shows, and I don't think we didn't really have anything long-term planned, but it worked, and we got along, and the shows were great, playing together was great, so we kept playing. We haven't stopped. And I think because we all have different things going on, you know, businesses, and I have another band, Suicide City, and it's in our studio, and Danny's got his job, and Evan, you know, with his work. It's convenient and fun and easy for us because it's only good energy, you know? It's like when we get together, we're together, we play, we tour for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then we go home and we go out, do our separate things. And we have our families, you know, and things like that.
And kids now.
Yeah. So, and then when we get back together, it's almost like a vacation from our lives, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think because of that, and because we grew up past a lot of the bullshit when we were younger,
yeah,
we don't really care about those things so much anymore. You know, now we just play shows, have fun, and we do what we do, and it just seems more fun. It's more about having a good time and playing together than maybe not having the pressure of, you know, success or anything like that. It's
After
not,
20 years, you don't need pressure.
yeah, you know, fique fria. You know, I can tell you this, I never thought that we would ever get back together. For years I wanted it to happen, you know, and then I started to forget. Once, like, when you want something so much and it doesn't happen, you forget about it, you know, and then you move on. And that's where I was. But it happened. And I think the same thing with Sepultura. I think that eventually people are going to stop asking and then they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And wow. And I think it's, you know, it's only natural, and everything in life becomes a circle. And the older I get, you know, I see that happens. I watched, you know, my you know, grandparents, you know, gone. My mother died. My grandmother's not doing well. My father's getting older, and eventually, you know, you become the oldest man of the family, and your kids get older, you know, and everything just comes to full circle. And I think that Biohazard is at a point where we went so far. We started here, and then we changed, you know, got so far away from that, and then we're back to where we started, you know. And when we started, we didn't know anything about the music industry or the business side of things. And then we got so caught up and went through so much bullshit through our career, and now we're back to where we started, where we don't care. You know, if we make music and we play on stage because we like to, that's it. You know, there's no record label, there's no business behind it. It's just a show, you know, and it's to show people, give people what Biohazard, the original Biohazard, was all about. You know? I think there's always going to be great music. There's only going to be shitty music. I think that there's always music, you know, bands copy each other. I think that, but no matter what, as time goes on, the bands come out that have something unique, you know. Protest the Hero.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of great bands that young and new fall away, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the internet has made it possible for so many bands to just form and be able to be out there because the music industry is a business, and in business, it's only success, and that's all that matters, nothing else. When I found, what I found in my career is that, and the smaller the record label, the more passionate the people who work there are for the music, and less about the business side of it. The bigger labels, yeah, people love music, and people who work there, I've met some great people on some of the big labels, but I found that the business side of it is so delicate that people are more afraid of losing their job than anything. And with the economy and with the music industry, the way it has been for the past 10 years, selling less and less records, people steal more and more records, it's harder to make a living. And what comes happening is that the small labels, independent record labels, are more successful because they never really had huge budgets. They didn't really make that much money, but they spend their money in the right ways, have small budgets, make decent records, they don't waste money, and they have more success, So everything comes to me that points towards independent labels. Indie labels and smaller record labels are better in every area for those reasons, And plus my experience with Roadrunner Records,
Yeah.
it was awesome. It was great, They're a bigger label now, but they were a small label when Biohazard and Roadrunner Records. There was maybe 10, 15 people.
That's fine.
I think that our relationship with Roadrunner was successful on both sides. I think that it was a big success for them, and it's going to help us in our career.
But Danny's all over the gates of hell, all hope abandoned.
I think that when we went to Warner Brothers, that was for State of the World Address, and we did as Biohazard. And then after that record is when we split ways with Bobby. But on that record, everybody that worked on State of the World Address at the record label lost their jobs. Everybody was gone. Everybody that liked the band from the record label left. Either they got fired or they quit. So when we did there's a lot of things that happened. When we split with Bobby, we also worked with a producer that I think didn't really understand what we were about and didn't help bring out certain elements that were prominent in the band. With the record label, being filled with people who didn't know or understand the band, because everybody who liked us was gone. And then the change of that was when things like grunge was being big, and metal and heavy music was not cool anymore. So it was like everything was changing, So I think there's a lot of reasons why that record and that part of our career being the way it was, For me, when I started Suicide City, that was my idea, to just do everything. I had been through the fucking ringer with the record labels and all that bullshit, and I watched everybody else make a lot of money off of my music, and our music with Biohazard. It's a record company will make $7 and you make 70 cents. So with Suicide City, I was like, I don't want to fucking do that. I'm going to do my own thing, release our own music, and control everything, and make more money, and have more profit, and be able to control the price of a CD. Because you don't need to spend more than $10 for a CD. You can charge $18 for a CD. It's stupid. I think because we are where we are in our lives, business-wise, it makes more sense to release your music on your own. But none of us have time to do that, you know what I mean? And we need to have, a record label behind us to help us with what they do best, you know what I mean? I think that things are fucked up everywhere, and I think that the reason why people see America as like they see the faults in America more is because America is such a big multimedia country. You can't go anywhere without having America be, being involved and being, There's McDonald's everywhere. There's a Burger King everywhere. We were here at the beach and there's McDonald's right there. We were by the church today. We saw Starbucks. So America's influence around the world is there. And it's all saying, if you stick your head above the crowd, everyone's going to throw rocks at it. So America rose to be such a superpower. People just love to just talk shit about us, you know. Politically, I don't agree with everything about America, you know, and our policies. But I'm proud as fuck to be American, you know. I'm proud of my country. I think that if there's hope, if things changing, for years, you know, I always would write about my hopes of things changing. And it seems like they don't change, you know. The more you scream, the more things stay the same. But what I have realized is when my daughter comes home from school and we're brushing our teeth at night, and she tells me, turn the water off because you're wasting water. It's those times that I realize that through the youth and through our younger generations, by teaching them things, it's a lot easier for the world to change in the long term. It doesn't change overnight, because when you sit there and you try to watch a plant grow, you can't see it fucking grow. But if you take time and you take a picture of it every day, you watch it over time lapse, you can see the growth. So you know, it's harder to see things when you're screaming and yelling about the change, blah, blah, blah. Well, this should be like this should be like that. But when you take the time and watch it, it does change, you know. So for me, as a parent, I've seen a lot of things in my daughter that is reassuring and awesome. Feels great. I know that she is part of a generation that, through education and through my wife and I teaching in the right way and through a proper education, I know that her way of looking at things is going to make the world a better place, you know, and that's awesome.
What makes us